Hello, welcome back to my channel. You guys must be wondering that has coronavirus given a special immunity to the devotees in the Kumbh Mela and the people in the rallies with regards to elections? Millions of devotees have descended on the banks of the Ganges River in the northern city of Haridwar to take a dip in the water as India battles a crippling second wave of the coronavirus. The second COVID-19 wave in India is a more challenging and aggressive one than the first pandemic wave, which in March of last year resulted in a national lockout. In just over 3.5 months of 2021, daily cases have not only surpassed, but also more than doubled, the high reported in 2020. The pandemic's impact can be seen across the country, with bodies piling up in crematoriums and ambulance lines forming outside hospitals. It is not only in metro towns, but also in smaller towns that the pandemic is having an effect. There is a lack of beds and oxygen supplies. Since April 17th, more than 1.75 lakh have died from the pandemic. Last Saturday, after an appeal by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the organizers of Kumbh Mela called on people not to assemble in Haridwar in large numbers. Both events have also emerged as super spreaders, with everyday cases which increased by more than 4,000% in some states and tripled in others from February 1st to April 16th. Why don't we subscribe and ring the notification bell before we get started? That way, you'll never miss another one of our awesome videos. In the wake of planet Jupiter's transit to Aquarius, Kumbh, symbol, 48. 51 lakh people crowded Haridwar, a major place for Hindus pilgering for Kumbh Snan once in 12 years. Although the police have been doing their best, the seers of the Akharas and the ash-spotted ascetic crowds of Har Ki Pairi Ghat cannot be subject to the regular procedures, SOPs, in both important bathing days because of the extreme deadlines. Almost 2,000 people in Kumbh Mela, Uttarakhand's Haridwar, screened positively for COVID-19. This confirms concern that one of the biggest religious meetings worldwide will further lead to the rapid increase in cases of coronavirus. Announcement of steps. Several measures were also declared in the context of electoral events to curb the spread of the virus in the Kumbh Mela. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the religious community could see symbolic involvement only because of the COVID-19 crisis. Modi tweeted over the telephone and questioned the health and safety of the saints, many of whom had contracted the infection, with Swami Avdheshanand Giri, of Juna Akhara, and expressed gratitude for cooperation with the local authorities. Various seers have supported the appeal by the Prime Minister. Some governments, such as the Karnataka District and City Council, have declared guidelines for returning Kumbh Mela. However, as cases increase, it can only be hoped that damage management will not be too late already. Despite the gravity of the health crisis, however, elections and religious groups, such as Kumbh Mela, have continued to raise serious questions about the spread of the deadly virus. Elections to the Assembly. COVID-19 cases have jumped by 3,489% in just 7 weeks in West Bengal, where 45 seats are being taken into the 5th stage survey. On February 1st the state reported 198 cases, but on 16th April it reported 6,910. On Friday 17 persons were killed by the virus. Elections are conducted in Bengal in 8 stages, with voting in the 3 remaining phases. The Election Commission takes a rather serious view against repeated infringements of star campaigners, policy makers and candidates who can be the bullet carrier for the COVID-19 campaign, grossly contravening protocols of health, and exposes themselves and the general public to the danger of infection. While no other state has considered the increase in cases like Bangladesh as exponential, in the case of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Assam and the Union Territory of Puducherry the situation of COVID-19 is similarly distressing, all of which have experienced an increase in cases following the assembly elections. The daily cases in Tamil Nadu have jumped to April 16th from 502 on March 1st to 8,449, while in Kerala daily cases almost tripled from 3,459 on February 1st to 10,031 at April 16th. On April 16th the number of cases has increased almost 3 times. The regular cases sprang from 13 on February 1, 2021 to 573 on April 16 when elections were held in 3 phases, one on March 27, one phase, 2 on April 1, and a third on April 6. In just over 2.5 months, this represents a 4,407% rise in daily incidents. Bengal is definitely a challenging state in which I can confirm that I had to do it 2 times, and Bengalis' argumentative interest is in the throat, the scream and the breath. The gun and the bomb were romanticized in their early years of the 20th century and legitimized socially as terrorism threatened Bengal's power with its unusual daring in gallows. Then, from 1971, when lumpen elements supported by Congress battled Naxalites to force elections, the violent picture has been strengthened. Each party which controlled or challenged Bengal politics has since resorted to violence, big or small. Violence is certainly in the news, regardless of what the desk had previously expected. However, while equally troublesome states where bullets and bombs fly more around and long laddis crumples too easily, West Bengal has to endure 8 long phases with only 1 or 2 polling stages. After all, for 44 years it has consistently voted against the Delhi ruling party. Naturally, the long-running political process helps people travel into a campaign from outside a zone at a time. Mamata was one of the few to successfully stop Modi's juggernaut during the Lok Sabha 2014 elections, and in the next 2016 election, she added 27 seats to her kitty. The BJP won 211 of the 294 seats at the elections, with just 3 in its Trinamool Congress, AITC or TMC. What's the challenge then? BJP is pushing Bengal. Well, since then there has been a lot of the water under the Howrah Bridge, and while in the 2019 Lok Sabha polls, her party was left badly battered, she managed to stop the second Modi surge. The BJP shot through the roof to win an unbelievable number of 18 MEPs, instead of just 2 it had earlier secured. They held their way to hold 22 of the 42 parliament seats. The BJP's Unite She Halves, Ekush Soft slogan, a halves TMC, completed in 2021, came into force almost as it were. The BJP has also capitalized on the autocratic way of Mamata and the problems of corruption to smother a heavy anti-incumbency breeze. That's stronger than the left's consistent assault could, but you don't know whether you can call it a wave. The elected members of Mamata certainly have antagonized electors by seeking a decrease in welfare systems and by being enriched by illicit coal and sand mining. Unfortunately, Bengal does not have either granite or other big minerals to fund ruling parties or massive infrastructure projects to celebrate and contribute to the regime. The voting share of the BJP also increased to the 40% guaranteed by TMC in the last Lok Sabha election by a whip of 22.7%. Thankfully, in 2019 the TMC managed to secure an extra 3.5%, giving it 22 seats. It was a pretty picture and the endless street fighter is far from done, even as Narendra Modi has certainly tasted blood. Her TMC struggles desperately to strengthen its status on the basis of its relatively successful implementation of social security systems. Furthermore, Mamata was pretty obsessed to the micromanagement and is betting, as in state elections, on Modi's magic dimming. But Modi is not only scattered across the country, but has visited the state for weeks more than he has in years. And, like the other 3 state elections, the BJP has drawn out its reserve force in its entirety. It applies to bludgeons opposition and engineering defects the Enforcement Directorate, ED, the Central Investigative Bureau, CBI, and the Income Tax, but conviction is almost null. It is certainly much more splurging than the state has ever seen. A new divide between languages. While the CPIM, led by its intellectual brigade, is centered, despairingly abandoned by its central leadership, to maintain its traditional base in Middle Bengal, a bitter war has been unleashed on the TMC, like the BJP 3 hardly exists. Youth influence and innovative slogans, poems, memoirs and lamps have been used by communists to sniff the TMC, even more than the BJP. This divide certainly benefits the BJP by lay voters, and, if the BJP takes office, we must thank the Marxists. They will then, of course, be discussing that historical error for several days. And, hold your breath, This left Congress coalition has allied with a new Muslim party led by a 24-year-old rabble-rousing hereditary religious leader from Hooghly's popular Furfura Sharif. Obviously the vote that Mamata has wooed to make it a big electoral matter will be cut to 27% by more Muslim votes. The Bengali Muslim is hardly influenced by the Urdu oratory of, say, a wise Owaisi. It must have been taken by a section of Bengali Muslims too simple, or the BJP in Muslim-dominated Malda, Reigand and Balergo cannot have got away from Lok Sabha with seats. A broad section also supported the convention and the left, but the BJP is likely to seriously endorse Mamata's TMC in the face of an unexpected attack. The Trinamool Congress, which is seeking a third term in power in West Bengal, spent more money on Facebook ads than the BJP, Mamata Banerjee's main rival, in the 90 days leading up to March 22, according to the results. According to data available on the social media website, West Bengal topped the spending for political ads on Facebook this year among the 4 states, and 1 union territory that will vote on March 27. Assembly elections will be held in 3 other provinces, Assam, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu, as well as the Union Territory of Puducherry, in addition to West Bengal. The Trinamool Congress, which is seeking a third term in power in West Bengal, spent more money on Facebook ads than the BJP, Mamata Banerjee's main rival, in the 90 days leading up to March 22, according to the results. During that time, West Bengal political parties spent approximately 3.74 crore on poll-related campaigns that came under Facebook's ad category of social problems, election, or politics. West Bengal was followed by Tamil Nadu, 3.3 rupees crore, Assam, 61.77 rupees lakh, Kerala, 38.86 rupees lakh, and Puducherry, 3.34 rupees lakh, in terms of ad spend during the time, according to the data. During this time, West Bengal political parties spent approximately 3.74 crore on poll-related campaigns that came under Facebook's ad category of social problems, election, or politics. West Bengal was followed by Tamil Nadu, 3.3 rupees crore, Assam, 61.77 rupees lakh, Kerala, 38.86 rupees lakh, and Puducherry, 3.34 rupees lakh, in terms of ad spend during the time, according to the data. During the time, the Trinamool Congress spent the most money of any party in West Bengal, about 1.69 crore, on campaigns like Banglar Gorbo Mamata, Bengal's Pride Mamata. There are also variants for each constituency, such as Dum Dum Yar Garbo Mamata. The Indian Political Action Committee, IPAC, which also runs other campaigns for the party on social media, is in charge of Trinamool's digital advertising. According to the results, another Facebook page called Kodakarak Modi, Harmful Modi, spent 33.12 lakh on political advertising during the time span under consideration. The state BJP's Facebook ad budget is estimated to be about 25.31 lakh. Its promotional campaigns like Amar Parabar BJP Parabar, My Family is a BJP Family, and Aar Noine, My Family is a BJP Family, No More Injustice. The Trinamool Congress's Facebook page has 1.3 million followers, while the West Bengal BJP's page has 1.7 million. The state Congress spent about 5 lakh on Facebook ads, while the amount spent by the left parties is insignificant. To be honest, there is lot more discuss and lot more to say. But the people who should safeguard us corona, provide proper medical facilities, avoid public gatherings and fetching money for elections campaigns, are the one who are doing this. So, that's all for today's show. I will get back to you with another video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that whenever I will back with another video, you will be notified. Thanks for watching and stay safe, safe home.